Alright, so in the last video I kind of did an overview of the project, showed some of the different components, and in this one I'm going to break down how all of the camera systems work in this game and kind of do a little Cinemachine tutorial. So just to kind of get back into it, two cameras I have are a free cam, which lets me orbit the player character just by either moving the mouse or right analog stick. And then if I click my right analog stick, I'm looking at an enemy target. Can do a Z targeting thing. If I click the stick again, camera goes back to my third person camera. So there's a couple components involved here. The first one is the script. So this is all the coding you have to do to get this switching to work. And all this does is switch between the two different cameras. It doesn't do any of the actual camera work. So all I'm doing here is going into my input manager, seeing if I have a camera button pressed, which in my input manager, I'm going to the Unity settings and returning my input get button down, camera mode change. So you can make that any key you want inside the Unity project settings. So anyways, come back here. If I get that input, I'm going to switch states on my target lock cam bool. So if I'm true, I go to false. If I'm false, I go to true. Alright, then I go into this conditional branch. If target lock cam is true, I'm going to deactivate my free cam and I'm going to activate my Z target cam. And then here in the basically target unlock, or if target lock cam is false, I'm doing the opposite. I'm activating my free cam, deactivating my Z target. So go in here to my different cameras and close the player here. So you got to have a main camera. Cinemachine Brain is going to attach to that, and then two virtual cameras. You have a Cinemachine free look camera, and this is just a base camera, Cinemachine virtual camera. So I'm gonna just start from scratch here, deactivate all of these. Alright, I'm gonna start over. So here I'm gonna create my camera. There you go. It's not looking at anything special, it has no brain attached to it. I'm gonna go here to tag, set tag to main camera. Gonna add my Cinemachine Brain. That. Okay, I'm just gonna double check the settings here, make sure nothing's too different. Yeah, we're good. FOV is a little different. Let's change that. So we'll change it to 60. Looks like I have -1 depth. Right. Oh, 40. Okay, so we'll go to 40. And we'll use where's that depth? There we go. -1 depth. Okay, so we've got our main camera. It's not doing anything yet, but go in here and make a new empty game object. This is going to be our third person. Let's see. Now we'll say that's a Cinemachine third person. So we'll go CM underscore third person. Good. I don't think we need a tag for that. No tags. But we are going to add another Cinemachine component with this. So this is a Cinemachine virtual camera, and this is a free look camera. There we go. So since this is the first active virtual camera, the Cinemachine Brain is going to default to that. So if I add another camera in here, and let's see, another empty object, and this will be our CM. We'll call that Z target taken. So let's call it let's say enemy target. Okay. So for this one, we can add another Cinemachine virtual camera, but this one's going to be a Cinemachine virtual camera. I think that's all it needs to be. Yep, Cinemachine virtual camera. All right, so they look pretty similar right now. Oh no, they don't actually. You can definitely tell the difference. So since this is going to default to whatever has priority, and they're both the same. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's going to default to the bottom one on the list. But you can see if we deactivate this one, there we go. So we get our CM third person if we deactivate this bottom one. So let's go in here. This is the first one we need to edit. The first thing we need to change is the follow and look at. Because right now, all that's controlling this is your transform, your positions here. So I can move this around just like a normal camera. It's not gonna do anything following the character. So the follow is gonna be the player, but specifically it's gonna be the chest bone of the player. Okay, and then the look at is gonna be another Cinemachine component. So actually for this one, we don't want that. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do follow as the chest and look at as the chest. Okay, so there we go. We've got the beginnings of our third-person camera. But if I go into my game, let's see. I think default will allow you to have some control over the axis. Yeah. So down here you can see it is taking in an input. So input axis name, mouse Y, mouse X. So that's pretty handy right off the bat. But I don't want to limit it to just mouse Y and mouse X. I actually want to make that able to use the mouse or a controller. So go into the project settings. I've already set that up. So that is my joystick sub horizontal. And here I've just set that to my joystick axis. It's just my right analog stick. And then if I go here to, I think it's keyboard sub, joystick sub horizontal. Oh, you know what? No, that's instead of input manager. Okay. So you will have to do a little bit more script if you want to copy this exactly. If you want to just use one input, you don't have to go through all this. You can just leave this as mouse Y and mouse X if you want to control it with the mouse. If you want to get a little bit more in depth, you can go in and create a little script, and that will just do this right here. So what we'll do is just a public static float called sub horizontal. You've got a float that you're creating here, and every frame you're going to add to that float the value of your axis. So either my right analog stick here or mouse X. And then you're going to return a value of whatever this float is clamped between -1 and 1. And do the same thing for the vertical. That's a little bit more advanced if we want to get into the input manager part of things. Obviously this is not complete. There's going to be a lot more in here later, but that's going to be a different video. So anyways, back to Unity. So what else do we need to set up here? We'll get rid of this, and we're going to call this sub horizontal. Let's see, what do we do over here? Okay, y-axis, x-axis. Okay, and that is going to be in the project settings. Brackeys. It's actually not set up in there. Where am I getting this value? Is that set up in the input manager? Oh, right. Okay. One more script. Okay, so you've got this free look axis control. This is going to send Cinemachine an input based on our input manager. All right, so this is going to be coupled with input manager to give you that x-axis, y-axis. So let's see what we did here. Cinemachine core, get input axis, get axis custom, and let's see, get axis custom is going to be a public float based on the string axis name. So here I've got if axis name is equal to x-axis, so over here, my Cinemachine camera. So where is that? Okay, here's our strings right here. Input axis name strings. So setting them up here, return input manager sub horizontal. So that's actually what's in the input manager. So this sub horizontal. So that says if I've got this string in that field, return this value. A little bit more complicated way to do it. If you want to just do your project settings, mouse X and Y in those fields, that's going to work just fine. But since I already have it set up in the other script, I'm going to keep going with the way I did it before. So here we have some control over the camera. Simple follow with world up. You switch that over to world space because we're going to want target forward to be our basic heading for the camera, and we want to follow our orbit in world space. So let's see how that looks right now. Falls down. Okay, we've got a little problem here. So this input axis X not set up, axis Y not set up. Okay, let's see why that changed. Edit settings input. It's funny because it should work. Unless I have the script. Ah, okay. So that script didn't get added. It's simple enough. So if you are making that secondary control scheme, you can just go in here, add your script. I call that my free look axis control. All right, that should clear this out and let us use that advanced control scheme. Okay, there we go, got rid of those errors. Okay, so look in here, let's separate the game window out just to see how this camera is tracking. Okay, center this up a little better. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is that the camera is orbiting a point way above the character, so that our bottom rig is basically at the player's head, and top rig is way too high. The top rig's not too bad, but the bottom rig, we're gonna want to look up when we get to the bottom rig. So do some edits here. So let me look at the other camera and see where my original position is, third person. So I'm probably going to have to change the orbit positions. So let's see, if I go to the bottom rig, there we go. So if you go into your orbits, you can change all your rig positions. So we'll just set this guy to 1. Oh no, that's too high. Let's say 0.1. That's still too high. What happens if I go 0? You know what I think we might have done, or I might have done rather? Yeah. Okay, so instead of following the chest bone, I'm just following the player. So this will be whatever object you're trying to track. If you want to track something as specific as a bone on your player character, you can do that. But we're not going to do that. I'm just going to try to simulate or recreate what we made before. So let's go back down here, go to our height. This should be a lot better now. Yeah. Now I can set this to basically 0 if I want it to be the ground. Let's just say 0. Let's see how that looks. So, okay. I can't really tell right now. I'm kind of floating off the ground a little bit. It's not bad. I'd rather be looking out ahead of the character when I'm at my middle position, rather than just at their feet or their butt or whatever we're looking at now. So let's see, what else can we change? Let's go into the different rigs. So the way they have this set up is your separate rigs have different settings you can mess with. So if I go to my middle rig, go to my body, and body's fine, and go to the aim. Okay, so let me get this guy back to position I like. Say in the middle, go 0.5, right in the middle. Now, I can try to change some things here. So tracked object offset, I don't think we need to change that really. Oh wow, actually did change that quite a bit. So 2.73, what's that gonna get us? Not a whole lot. I'm not gonna mess with that then. Okay, so let's say screen Y. Oh, oops, I'm messing with the top rig right now. I don't want to do that. I want the middle rig. Okay, let's try this. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's nice. So we can do the tracked object offset there. Put that at 2. So now I got a pretty nice kind of close cam. That's not too bad. Except if you look up, I'm still looking at the character's shoes. So I'm going to do that same tracked object offset for the bottom rig. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Just want to look up. Let me get there. So 2.25. And then I kind of want to see more of the character when I do that. It's not bad. Actually, that's pretty good. We can see up pretty good. Look down. I think I want that to be a little bit bigger orbit though, because I want to do some platforming. So I want to make sure that I've got lots of room to see what's going on beneath me. So go to the top rig. I'm going to open up that radius a little more. Alright, let's do like 4. But you can see it pulled back quite a ways. So I'm going to go into the top rig Y again. And I'm gonna tilt that just a bit, right like that. Okay, that's looking kind of cool. Let's see how it actually plays though. Okay, so see when I move around, the camera's still gonna follow me. That's really good. If I go here, I can see up. I can kind of see a cool shot of the character. Down, look around a little bit, and you can really tweak with these settings and get any kind of camera you want. I think that's pretty good for just a basic third-person camera. Okay, so we're gonna stop messing with that, and we're gonna go over here to our Cinemachine enemy target. So this one is gonna require one more component, and that's gonna be our target group. So I've already set up the target group here, but we'll deactivate that and make a new one so you can see how it goes. Make sure we're not creating that in live mode. That wouldn't work at all. Okay, deactivate that guy. Hopefully, okay. Whew. I'm glad I had this save during play checked. I got to make sure if you're editing the Cinemachine settings in live mode, they have this save during play activated, because otherwise all your changes are going to go out the window. Really don't want to change anything in live mode unless you have to. But Cinemachine's nice enough to have this save during play option. Anyways, go back in here. We're going to make that target group. So create empty. Game object, we'll call this target group 2. Okay. Add component, and this is another Cinemachine component. So Cinemachine target group. Okay, cool. So we want 2 targets. I want our position mode and rotation mode to be group average, because I want this to be centered around the group and not just one target. Or so I think these do group center, so that would be like a location. I don't know, I've had the best results from group average, so we're just going to do that. So 2 targets. We're going to do our enemy target, this little octopus monster here, and this is where we're going to use the player's chest bone specifically. So go in here, drop that enemy transform right in there, and this chest bone right there. And just while we're doing this, I'm going to activate this camera so I can see what the heck is going on. Alright, so we've got the target group set up. Pretty simple, that's all you have to do. You want to change these weights though. So just copy what I did on these weights. Got 1, 2, 1.5, and 4. And then go back into Cinemachine enemy target. You can see right now it's not doing anything, just hanging out in space. We'll do the follow as the chest bone. You know what? I think I messed up something in the target group. Let's see. Let's see if it bugs out. Yeah. Let's see. Target group 1 was the chest and the enemy. Z target is chest and target group 1. Oh, that might do it. Okay. So go back here. Let's see what other settings we need to change. So we need to go into our body and do some edits. So here we're going to do, I think we're going to do a transposer, or no, what is it? Framing transposer. Oops. So go in here to your body, and it's going to use a framing transposer. So let's see, I want some guides on because this is kind of vague what's happening right now. Okay, so what kind of settings do we have here? So our body is using a framing transposer. We've got different positioning we can do. So if I move this around, it's going to move the camera in the screen space for our X and Y. I'm just going to make that the middle of the screen still. And we also need an aim. So I think we can just do a composer for the aim. That'll get us closer to where we want. And let's see here. Where do I want these different things? So our follow is set to the player. So let's get the player in the right position. So I kind of want the player to be a little lower on the screen. Make this bigger. See what's going on here. So the body is going to be really where your follow is stuck. So you can see as I move this screen Y, it sort of moves the position of the player, the chest bone. So you can get some cool results here. This is something I kind of want to experiment with and do some better camera shots. But for now, we'll just do like a mid-screen. Let's see, it's not really mid-screen, is it? Should be. Maybe when I change something else. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, so we'll say that's mid-screen. This is like 3/4 down. Okay. Now for the body, you want to make sure that you're tracking your target really tight. So if I go in right now, deactivate that game guide, it's not going to really track this first target very well. You can see I can go way over here. It's doing what I want, but it is not that kind of screen locked type of Z targeting. I mean, right now you're there though, but we're gonna fine tune it just a hair. So I'll leave it live. I'll put my game guides back on, and I'm gonna really reel in this dead zone. Let's see. No, not the dead zone. There, the width. So this soft zone is basically an area that the cameras will allow your target to travel within before they move. So if you see now, if I move, when the player character's chest bone gets to the edge of the soft zone, the camera starts to move. That's pretty much what I want. But you can go even tighter and just make it 0, and you're going to have a deadlock, just really tight. There's a little bit of jitter though. I think that's kind of based on character animations. So I'm going to try to smooth that out a hair, just like that. That's all right. Now we kind of have that camera lock. Okay, so we got that working. We got both the cameras up. Let's see if we can get the camera switching to work. All right, so I'm going to deactivate this enemy target and activate the CM third person. Whoa, that looks really weird. I wonder why it's doing that. Oh, it's way up in the air. I wonder why it did that. So let this load and figure it out. Oh, wow. got really messed up somehow. Let's see. It's like there's some offsets being applied. Let me look at the old camera and see if there's something different here. No, so far so good. It's like it stopped following the. It's like it's not following the player anymore. It's really strange. Let's figure this out. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. Okay, using world space, spline curvature. I can maybe curve that a little bit. Doesn't matter. Well, let me go into the different heights. Maybe our heights got messed up here. Now it's going back into negative. And that, why did we adjust that before? Ah, here we go. That's what happened. Okay. I must have changed the target when we were in live mode, and it didn't save it. Okay, well, that's easy enough. Just go to the player transform. Goes in there. It should look a little better now. Let's see. Yeah, that's more like what we want. Okay, cool. So now getting back into camera switching. So I've got this third-person camera, enemy target camera. How am I going to switch over to that other camera? So I'm defaulting on my third-person camera. I've got that activated and nothing activated on this enemy target. Out of all of these scripts, we're just going to need, let's see, our target lock camera. So just to show you how it'll work, deactivate all of these guys. Oops. There. So now you know the only one that's active is going to be this target lock camera. Now since I've set these to public in my script, I'll go over here to the target lock camera. See, I've got these public Cinemachine virtual cameras. You've got to put your new cameras into here. So that's easy enough since I've got these new cameras set up. So our free cam is going to be your CM third person, and your Z target cam will be your CM enemy target. Alright, so that should work. Let's check it out. Alright. Alright, I'm in control. Can't move around because I've deactivated those scripts, but let's see what happens if I do my, oh nice, my target lock-on button works. And if I deactivate it, go back to where I was looking before. So pretty painless. A couple little bugs in there, and a lot of fine tuning with your cameras, getting those soft zones and dead zones in, figuring out where you want your orbits to sit, um, and you can adjust that all you want. If you got any questions, just send me a message. I'm gonna try to update this as often as I can and go through each major portion of this project. And next will probably be the movement system. And now that we have the camera set up, you'll see kind of why I need cameras set up before I worry about movement. All right, well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.